Bhrigu saw there was not enough space for him to go around Shiva alone, so he converted himself into a mouse and went around Shiva alone, ignoring Parvati or excluding Parvati from the circumambulation.
Devotion means it is a solution which slowly dissolves you, makes you less and less of yourself. So she came to her enlightenment that way. She came to know the beyond in that sense. Then there were others who were his people. They are literally like they had fallen out of him. They asked, what about us? All these guys are shining up. What about us? He said, you don't bother about all this. This is for intellectual idiots. This is for emotional idiots. You don't worry about all that. If your mind does not rise beyond the compulsions of your body, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you
If you are not aware of this already, Shiva in yoga is seen as not as a god, but as the Adiyogi. That means he's the first yogi. And the Adi Guru, that means the first Guru. And today, yoga as a science, yoga as a system, yoga as a technology for inner well-being is available to us only because of the feminine play, that is, Parvati compelled him to teach. By himself, he would have never done that. So because he became the first Guru, naturally he developed disciples and devotees. Of the first 7 disciples that he taught yoga to, who are known as Saptarishis, of these Saptarishis, the whole of southern mysticism has come from Agastya Muni. He is everything to us here because everything that we know is from him. He was Shiva's direct disciple. Another disciple was Bhrigu. Bhrigu became intensely devout about Shiva, that he became very feminine, because devotion is feminine. He became a great devotee of Shiva. So every day he comes and he wants to do… 3 times he wants to circumambulate Shiva. That means he wants to do pradakshina 3 times. He doesn't start his day without doing that. And Parvati is right here. By now she is also a fully enlightened being. But he ignores her completely and he goes only around Shiva, never around both of them. So Parvati felt little irked by this. So one day, she sat close to him. Then Bhrigu came and there was no way to go around Shiva without going around Parvati, so he asked her to move. This is the way of a devotee. They are not logical people, very feminine. But they're intense. Parvati said, why should I move? He said, I will go only around the Lord, not you. Bhrigu saw there was not enough space for him to go around Shiva alone, so he converted himself into a mouse and went around Shiva alone, ignoring Parvati or excluding Parvati from the circumambulation. So Shiva was just amused by this tiff that is going on between his wife and his devotee. So he looked at the whole thing and he grabbed Parvati and put her on his lap, just to see what he will do. How is he going to circumambulate Shiva without circumambulating Parvati now, because she is sitting on his lap? Then Bhrigu transformed himself into a bird and went around just Shiva. Then Shiva was completely amused by this devotion, very pleased and also amused by the way the devotee is expressing himself and the way Parvati is getting fired up because of this discrimination. So Shiva said, okay, let's see what you will do. And he just merged her into a part of himself. Shiva has become half Parvati and half woman, half man. This is half man, half woman. If one knows how to nurture this one to its fullest extent, this will become half man, half woman, and that is how it will be. So this is called Ardhanari, where he is half man and half woman. So he made her a part of himself, just to see what the devotee will do. Now Bhrigu made himself into a bee and went around only the right leg. So Shiva and Parvati, both of them laughed and they said, this is not a man. He's too feminine. What he's dedicated to is everything to him. He's blind to everything else. So he just buzzed around the right leg, refusing to go around the left leg because this is Parvati. Then this childish way of devotion of Bhrigu was amusing and nice, but at the same time, Shiva did not want Bhrigu to be lost in his devotion and miss the ultimate nature of the existence. So, he got into the yogic posture of Siddhasana, where there was no way for him to circumambulate his leg or any other part of his body. If he has to do it, he has to do it for both these principles of feminine and masculine. So this is how this body became like this, that it is half male and half female, or masculine and feminine in equal proportions. If one knows how to nurture this one, both will be fully active and alive in every human being. If we let these two parts of us reverberate as intensely as the other, each one of us can be a 100% man and 100% woman within ourselves. The whole science of yoga is based on this, that you should not miss either the masculine or the feminine in you, because any one of them will be a lopsided life. Now when we say yoga, we are talking about a dimension which is all-inclusive. It is not an exercise or a process for creating health. It is about ultimate well-being of the human being, in which you cannot exclude any aspect of life. It is about attaining to a dimension beyond all dimensions. It is about a system and a method to use your own existing system as a ladder to the divine, to make your body, to make your mind, to make your emotion and your energies a ladder to the divine, to make yourself into a stepping stone towards your ultimate nature.
Someone was asking me, Sadhguru, why are you so hard on us? Many other gurus say nice things. You're continuously hard on us. Whatever we do, you say it's not enough. It's not me who is saying that. The life within you is saying that, isn't it? Whatever you is not enough. Hello? Huh? The life within you is saying, whatever you do is not enough. I'm just resonating that. And above all, I'm getting tired of being a stress-busting, husband-fixing, wife-fixing guru. A yogi means he is supposed to do something to you which is beyond your physical and psychological drama. I'm not the director of your physiological and psychological drama that's going on. It's your business to run those two dramas well, isn't it so? There is enough intelligence within you to conduct life, yes or no? There's enough intelligence. The question is only, is it working for you or against you? When your intelligence works against you, you are a dumb thing. Yes, somebody else is working against you, we can manage it. We can manage it. Once your intelligence works against you, you are a dumb thing. There's no possibility in that state. So, what is the way? Well, Adiyogi talked about three basic formats for realizing what's beyond. With one set of people, with the Saptarishis, who are seven very focused men, he talked about the science of knowing. Went on for decades, exploration. For this, you need a razor-sharp intellect. And perseverance to hang on to something for decades, to simply stay in one direction. With mind, to keep your mind on one thing for a period of time takes enormous capability, intellectual capability to be able to stay with something unwavering. It's easier to keep your emotion like that. So when he saw the way he was teaching the Saptarishis, though initially everybody thinks they're intellectual and it entertains them when you talk about the science of it, after some time, they won't be able to stay on because it needs sharpness. And perseverance. Those who are sharp are all over the place. Only those who are little dim have perseverance, unfortunately, in the world. To be sharp and to be absolutely in a state of perseverance always are a few, not too many. So he saw the next possibility. When his wife Parvati came, she came to him with enormous love and devotion. So, because her devotion and love for him was such, he could include her as a part of himself. She became one half of him, and actually, in the Indian languages, the word for wife is ardhangi. That means she is literally a half of you. I think even in English there is a term like that, huh? Better half, bitter half, whatever. No, it depends case to case. So, he showed how with sheer emotion you can get there, because when your emotion gets attached to somebody, it's very easy to stay focused. When you were 18, 20, you fell in love with somebody, you couldn't wipe their image off your mind, isn't it? Simply there all the time. Because when your emotion gets attached to something, your mind just stays there. Everything that you think, everything that you do, your very energies get oriented in that direction because your emotions are attached to something. So this is what Parvati did, that she attached her emotions to Adiyogi in such a way that emotion which starts as love became devotion. Devotion means it is a solution which slowly dissolves you, makes you less and less of yourself. So she came to her enlightenment that way. She came to know the beyond in that sense. Then there were others who were his people. They are literally like they had fallen out of him. They asked, what about us? All these guys are shining up. What about us? He said, you don't bother about all this. This is for intellectual idiots, this is for emotional idiots. You don't worry about all that. You just be… you're anyway part of me, what is there to do for you? But don't worry about enlightenment and rubbish, you just be here, simply. Because you have no sense of yourself, you don't have to do anything, just hang around, that's all. These are the three ways in which he delivered. In today's world, you have to start with the intellect because everybody thinks they just read high school science, but everybody thinks he's a scientist in this world right now. So if you want to train this intellect that it can stay like this for long periods of time, that's fantastic, that'll need lots of work. But your emotion is capable of like that. There have been times in your life when you're emotionally very strong with somebody, 24 hours. Has it happened or no? So you're more emotionally competent than intellectually competent. Whether you're a man or a woman, this is true for you, look at it and see. Maybe your love is not focused, but your anger at least is focused. That is an emotion. If your mind does not rise beyond the compulsions of your body, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you. If you do not know how to raise your mind beyond the compulsions of your physiological compulsions, if you do not raise beyond that, then what's the point of talking to you of higher things? You are not yielding to your life's longings, you are settling for the ways of the body, that's all. Is it wrong? Not at all. It's just limited. Is it wrong to be limited? Not at all. But if it happens to me, I would consider it as a crime against my life. But different people have different standards, it's perfectly fine. It's just that Don't talk about lofty things when what you want is this. It's a waste of time for you and of course for me. A few physiological things have enlarged in their mind in such a way that it looks like there is no way to cross it. No, you just have to look at it with little more awareness, that's all. Don't you have the intelligence to cross these things? You have, believe me. It is just that your intelligence is mortgaged to so many things that it can't think straight. Because small physiological needs and psychological needs, you have dressed it up so much, with so many frills, you can't see through what it is. It is very simple process. Physiological needs of hunger and sexuality are very simple things. If you see it for what it is, very easily you can look beyond it. Body and mind are tools, are instruments given to you so that you live. Not that you get enslaved by those two tools, you're supposed to master them